Today, we are examining a structural framework for an English learning podcast designed to teach A1 to A2 beginners through original, suspenseful storytelling rather than traditional grammar lessons. And look, the ambition here to blend an audiobook feel with actual language acquisition is super strong. But a few structural bottlenecks are actively fighting against that exact goal. So we're just jumping right in.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this because looking at the notes, there is a lot of rich material here, but the execution definitely needs some tightening.
Exactly. So let's start by looking at the pure math of the framework, because trying to execute this 13-step framework in 15 to 20 minutes is kind of like trying to pack a massive wardrobe into a tiny carry-on suitcase for a weekend trip. The seams are going to burst.
The sheer volume of instructional elements packed into this brief time frame risks overwhelming a beginner learner and causing cognitive fatigue.
Yeah, because
the weakness here is asking an A1, A2 learner to process a 2,500-word narrative, plus memorize 15 new vocabulary words, answer 5 listening comprehension questions, repeat 20 speaking sentences, and do isolated pronunciation practice, all within a 15 to 20-minute window. It's just fundamentally misaligned with beginner processing speeds.
Right, it's just too much. They're translating in real time, holding the plot in their head, and then boom, a massive vocab list. The mental RAM is completely maxed out.
Window. So the suggestion here is to drastically scale back the quantity of explicit teaching items to allow the listener time to absorb the language and just let the story breathe.
Okay, but what does scaling back actually look like? Because I can see a creator worrying about not providing enough value.
Sure. Well, for concrete examples, you could reduce the vocabulary break from 15 words to maybe 3 to 5 high-impact story-critical words. Quality over quantity, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then cut the speaking practice from 20 sentences down to just 3 key conversational phrases. This shifts the focus from, exhausting rote memorization to confident mastery of a few really useful tools.
I love that. Because if I only have to learn 3 phrases, I can actually focus on the nuances, like the intonation and the emotion. I'm not just frantically trying to survive a drill.
Exactly. Deep encoding of 3 words is infinitely more valuable than shallow exposure to 15.
Right. But moving on to the next point, if we are reducing the volume of the drills, we also really need to look at where those drills live. Because the framework claims the listeners should feel like they're listening to an exciting audiobook. But if I'm listening to a thriller about a mysterious neighbor, a sudden halt to drill 15 vocabulary words completely kills the suspense. So how can the framework fix this flow?
Well, the rigid structural separation between narrative segments and rote practice exercises severely undermines the intended immersive, natural listening experience.
Yeah, totally breaks the illusion.
Right. The weakness here is that halting the story midway in step 5 for a formal vocabulary lesson, and then following the narrative's climax with heavy rapid-fire quizzes in steps 7 through 9, it just creates a disjointed rhythm that breaks the listener's emotional engagement and totally ruins the momentum of the plot.
It's basically like being at a movie theater. You're super captivated, the music swells, and then the lights flip on and a guy walks up and hands you a pronunciation worksheet.
Yes.
You'd be furious. It completely ruins it.
That is the perfect analogy. So the suggestion to fix this is to weave the linguistic support organically into the narrative, or consolidate the heavy instructional drills to a dedicated conversational debrief at the very end of the audio.
Okay, I like the sound of weaving it in, but how do we do that without the narrator sounding like a walking dictionary?
Right. So concretely, instead of stopping the story for a vocabulary break, the narrator could briefly and naturally define a difficult word using a synonym or a context clue exactly when the character encounters it.
Oh, gotcha. So, no breaking character?
Exactly. For instance, if the word is terrified, you just bake it into the script, like, he was terrified, his hand shook, and he was so scared he couldn't breathe. You don't stop the show to explain it.
That is so much smoother.
Yeah. Alternatively, you can just keep the story completely uninterrupted from step 3 to step 6. Let the tension peak naturally, and then group a shorter integrated review session at the end, like a natural podcast post-show debrief.
I really like that. It treats them like an audience member first. And actually, that ties perfectly into the ending of the framework, which is another issue. Building on that audiobook vibe, we need to look at steps 10 and 12, because there's this jarring tonal shift.
Oh, definitely.
We go from a gripping mystery about a neighbor who, quote, changes your life forever, straight into a wholesome life lesson and traditional homework. It feels like stepping out of an intense thriller and immediately being handed a pop quiz by a strict headmaster.
It really does. The inclusion of a mandatory moral lesson and formal homework assignments creates a tonal inconsistency that clashes with the suspenseful premise established in the hook.
Yeah.
The weakness here is that the hook promises a gripping, mysterious, and engaging scenario, but concluding with a simplistic life lesson in step 10 and rigid homework in step 12 feels incredibly patronizing. It contradicts the framework's core goal of facilitating natural learning without feeling like a classroom.
100%. I mean, for me, just hearing the word homework triggers this immediate dread. It turns a fun podcast into a stressful obligation.
Yeah, it raises what we call the affective filter. It creates anxiety. So the suggestion is to align the wrap-up and calls to action directly with the established genre of the story, framing the learning tasks as narrative extensions rather than academic chores.
Okay, I love the idea of leaning into the genre. So for concrete examples, instead of a generic moral lesson, maybe summarize the episode by exploring a character's psychological realization, right?
Yes, exactly. Or pose a lingering mystery about the plot.
Ooh, leave them hanging. And then we rebrand homework to fit the theme. Like, for example, call it a detective's challenge, asking the listener to practice speaking by recording a voice memo of their own theory on what the neighbor is hiding.
I love that.
And you tell them they have to utilize 3 of the new vocabulary words to do it. It removes that ego threat of being graded.
Totally. It feels like they're actively participating in the world of the story instead of just submitting a forced assignment. It's brilliant.
Awesome. Well, looking at the clock, let's briefly summarize the main actionable takeaways here. First, reduce the sheer volume of vocabulary and speaking drills to prevent beginner burnout.
Right. Keep it focused. Second, integrate the learning organically into the story or push it to the end to protect the audiobook's momentum. No turning on the fluorescent lights mid-movie.
Exactly. And third, rebrand the ending segments so they feel like an extension of the story's genre, totally eliminating that sterile classroom tone.
Yeah. Implementing those tweaks will clear the roadblocks and really let the imaginative storytelling shine.
Absolutely. Huge thank you to the listener for submitting this framework. The structural ambition here is so clear, and we warmly invite you to submit the revised version of your framework back in for another critique.